Welcome back, everyone, for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up some bad guys and solve some crimes. I'm your host, Chris Wright, along with Calhoun County Sheriff Matthew Wade. Good to see you, Sheriff.
Hey, it's always good to be on the show, Chris. Things have been happening, elections going on. It's been a busy time at the Sheriff's Office.
Always is, I'm sure.
Absolutely. You know, some of the things we've been doing since we've been sheriff is, you know, about a year ago we made every deputy carry a tourniquet. You know, we actually saved a life after we did that. Well, about a month ago, we bought some AEDs, or automatic defibrillators, and we put those in cars.
Those are the...
They just shock you, you know, and I've seen that actually work one time. Deputy sheriff at the courthouse had an incident, and they put those pads on him and mashed the button, and that thing brought him back to life, saved his life.
So, and you just never know when one of those is going to be needed.
Absolutely. You know, and we got a grant from the National Sheriff's Association, and just this week we received 50 doses of Narcan. While I'm sad that we have people who are overdosing in our county, it's happening very frequently. And while we're not medics, you know, we're not necessarily EMTs, but these materials, the tourniquet, the AED, and now the Narcan is made for the layman. And so while we're not trying to take the place of a medical professional, we do patrol in rural parts of the county. A lot of times we're the first people there, you know, beating the ambulance there 15 minutes or so. If we can save somebody's life, that's what we want to do.
And you do care about people who use drugs. Some people think, oh, all the sheriff's office wants to do is just go out and grab anybody that's done any kind of a drug crime and throw them behind bars. You care about these people. You want what is best for them.
You know, I guarantee you, anybody watching this show they either have somebody in their family, or know of somebody, or have a friend who has somebody in their family who has a problem with drugs. It affects everybody. It's not something where it's just inner city kids or a certain class or a certain color of skin. It affects everybody. I wished I had the answer to beat people with, you know, so people can beat their addiction. You know, I'm overweight, and people say, well, just eat less. It's not that easy. So I feel for them. I wish we had the answers to give them more help, but if we find somebody that's in need, we want to save their life. Maybe
give
we
them
can.
a second chance.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's talk about the folks arrested this week.
Hey, 3 arrests this week. You've never let us down. Brings our count up to 4,033 people that's been arrested, all because somebody was willing to get involved, and we cannot do this alone. It's not a us versus you, it's just us.
All right, so we've got more than a dozen people to add to the list, and we'll have the first half of that coming up next on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up on our lineup this week, Remington Johnson. Mr. Johnson, last known to be living in Birmingham. He's wanted for murder. We've been looking for him for a while. There is a reward through Crime Stoppers for this individual. Please, if you know anything, give us a call. Next up is Christopher McGee. Mr. McGee, last known to be living in Birmingham. He's wanted for failure to appear on domestic violence third assault. And we'd like you to meet Robinetta Wiggins. Miss Wiggins, last known to be living in Tarrant. She's wanted for failure to pay on attempted possession of a controlled substance. And meet Earl Weatherspoon. Mr. Weatherspoon, last known to be living in Jacksonville. He's wanted for failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And this is Cody Thompson. Mr. Thompson, last known to be living in Leesburg. He's wanted on a probation revocation for harassment. Take a look at Randall Jefferson. Mr. Jefferson, last known to be living in Pell City. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, possession marijuana second, pistol without a license, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And last up for the first half of our lineup, Katrina Robinson. Miss Robinson, last known to be living in Ohatchee. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a forged instrument second and negotiating a worthless, non-negotiable instrument. That's writing bad checks, folks. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, we'll have some more bad guys for you here in just a few minutes, but right now David West is joining us again. We get to talk to David every once in a while, the County Extension Coordinator. Good to see you, David.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me on again.
Always good to talk with you. And I know with school back in session now, the kids are all in full swing with school, and some extracurricular activities are starting to pick back up, and one of those is the 4-H clubs.
Yes, we have 4-H clubs in our schools, in most of our county schools, our elementary schools, from DeArmonville to Piedmont, all back down to Ohatchee, back down to Welborn. So we've got the county pretty well covered with our 4-H clubs in schools. We have added a lot of after-school clubs the last few years. We have 2,200, I believe, children enrolled in 4-H last year. And
wow.
So we've been able to add some after-school clubs for children who want to maybe specialize in something a little bit more. And so I want to try to highlight those programs so that people knew that not just the activities that the kids are going to be doing in school, but there are things that they can do after school as well to get a little bit more in-depth training.
Now, for people that don't know exactly what 4-H is, give us a quick
4-H is head, heart, hands, and health. And so our programs are made to help kids think for themselves, be loyal, be able to have better health, and to oriented toward community service as well.
Those are the kind of programs we need, aren't they, Sheriff?
Absolutely. You know, it's good. Alexandria is big into it, and they do a good job with it.
All right, so if kids aren't involved right now, is it sign-up period happening now? Or?
Well, you can have your own club if you're not involved in school. We have an after-school club that meets at our office. Well, right now everything's meeting at Cane Creek Community Garden because the administration building is being remodeled, and so we have our staff and our storage in our auditorium right now. And so our after-school clubs are all meeting at Cane Creek Community Gardens in our sustainability classroom or the Master Gardener classroom out there. And that's been a good meeting site for us. Heather Mulvihill is a new extension agent for us this year, and she focuses primarily on water quality and the environment and recycling. But she also has a degree from Mississippi State in animal dairy sciences. And so she's beginning a livestock club, and its first meeting will be this coming month. And so she wants to invite folks to come to that. If you're interested in livestock, learning about livestock, how to judge livestock or score livestock. It may be where they even got off into perhaps scoring meats. I took my child to a meats judging event a couple of years back, and the graduate student who was teaching that class said he had been all the way through college with completing his doctorate now just because he was good at scoring meats. He said he had never had to pay for college because he was good at scoring meats, and so he had started in Kansas, and he was now in Auburn.
And it seems like the agricultural things had kind of taken a back seat for quite a while, but they really are coming back in a big way. I know a lot of young people are getting into farming and that kind of thing, and really seeing some great career opportunities out of it.
Agriculture is incredibly important to us individually and as a nation. We have always been food self-sufficient here in America, and so that's very important. Of course, we feed the world as well.
And all you have to do is look, and I hate to use these people as an example because they're suffering so much right now, but look at the island nations. Look at Puerto Rico, for example, out there with what happened with the hurricane coming through and hurricanes coming through, and they don't have everything they need on that island. They're limited in their resources, and right now they don't have runways for planes to come in and bring things in. They're really having a problem. And here we don't have the island issue, but we've got to make sure that we've got what we need around us.
Right, and we're fortunate to be from sea to shining sea, and to have all the resources that's contained within that. And so having good farmers on board and to have this younger crop of farmers coming on now, we've had more interest in our farmers markets the last few years than ever in my career, and I have almost 25 years in now. And folks are really interested in growing their food and knowing where their food comes from. And so we think that our livestock club will be something that children will be interested in and be ready to maybe go deeper with in terms of what they can learn about livestock care, livestock husbandry, selecting quality livestock, and what what it takes to raise a good livestock crop.
Now, when you're done raising some of these livestock, if you need some help disposing of some, the sheriff and I are going to volunteer our services.
You know, there's people that score meats. I'm a guy who eats meat.
Yeah, we have judging contests for that too. So sometimes when we have
Reach out, that's all I'm saying.
like our chicken Q contest, we'll have that probably next spring at Tractor Supply. And
Gotta hook somebody up, all I'm saying.
I heard that we may have a bacon shortage worldwide before long. Now that scares me.
oh, we wouldn't want to be short on bacon, that's for sure.
No. All right, well, we need to take a break, but I know we've got some other things that we want to talk about as well. We'll be right back with the second half of this week's lineup and more with David West here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Nathaniel Duncan. Mr. Duncan, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on permitting dogs to run at large. And this is Justin Brown. Mr. Brown, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance. And take a look at Angel Lockridge. Miss Lockridge, last known to be living in Piedmont, she's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance ×2 and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And meet Eric Jones. Mr. Jones, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted for failure to appear on writing multiple worthless checks. And meet Bryant Key. Mr. Key, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted for criminal trespass second. And last up in our lineup this week, Rebecca Perry. Miss Perry, last known to be living in West Blockton, she's wanted for assault third. And that's it for our lineup. If you have any information on the whereabouts of these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-238-1414.
Your crime fighting's not done. That's the end of the lineup, but we've got the Crime Stoppers segment of the show coming up in just a few minutes. We will also, of course, have our crazy criminal of the week. Careful where you sit down is what I'm going to tease that one with. All right. This is not comfortable. All right, David West is our guest, the County Extension Coordinator here in Calhoun County, and we've been talking about 4-H, which Sheriff has got the nice logo over there.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen, if you live in Alabama, you've seen that logo.
Absolutely. It's a magnet, too.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Folks can register for 4-H and 4-H online, and so it's 4honline.com. And so all the children that we have in 4-H will get enrolled in 4honline.com, and you get to pick programs that you're interested in, and then that lets us know what you're interested in, and then we can follow up with you that way.
And you go online in 4-H, some people still have the perception of, okay, agriculture and that kind of thing and technology are 180 degrees. That is absolutely not the case.
There's a lot of technology in agriculture. There's technology in just about every job that you have nowadays.
Right.
And so technology generally increases efficiencies, and so technology would be important on a farm because a farmer, it's critically important to them to be as efficient as they can to keep up with where they're making money, where they may be losing money, and changing crops and changing crop planting.
Some of the intense technology that we see today, it kind of is in the computer and stays in the computer. We never actually see anything done, but the technology that you're using out in the crops and such, you get to see technology actually make something happen. You get to see the results, feel the results, hold it in your hand.
Sure. And then the efficiency of the equipment that you're using also is significantly different than what it was years ago. So all those things help us maintain a safe and secure food supply. So that's what we need. Another club I want to talk about is our wildlife club. Stephen Fawn, who is a longtime wildlife educator here in Calhoun County, hosts our wildlife club. Now, it meets on the second Saturday of each month out at the community garden. They have a $5 fee for that because we have to buy insurance for these clubs. And so that's one of the fees for that. Stephen says that they'll learn about wildlife, animal husbandry, animal identification, wildlife nutrition, maybe take some field trips, have some hands-on activities, and habitat environment where you'd find these animals at. Stephen also generally takes an animal to his 4-H club meetings each day. So that kind of makes him popular at the
Like
school.
a field trip, like a turkey hunt or a deer hunt or
Now, I believe
dove
you could
hunt?
probably talk Mr. Fawn into that because he likes hunting and fishing and those types of things. So I don't know what type of field trips he has in mind, but that sounds like something he would probably be into. Now, Jennifer Gann is another agent in our office. Jennifer is our 4-H Foundation regional agent, so we have a statewide 4-H foundation, and they have partnered with the state office to fund an extension agent in each county. And so Jennifer has several after-school clubs. One is our youth council, our 4-H youth council, so children who have perhaps maybe been involved in 4-H and want to advise on ways to improve 4-H or either develop some more leadership skills, then they may be involved in our 4-H youth council. And they need to get with Jennifer on applying for that. Some things that they may have, she says, unlock your leadership, build your own future, have some competitions, have midwinter leadership retreat that they may go to, and some community service activities that they work on as well. Jennifer also meets our 4-H Horse Club on the 3rd Monday of the month at the community gardens. The Horse Club has been popular. Amy Hegeman is a local volunteer that helps with that club, helps lead that club. And so some of their things that she's got listed here are hoofs and medical wraps, horse farm visit, be a champ at grooming, trail riding obstacle course, how to keep your horse from being spooked, 4-H horse show, horse terminology, and horse quiz bowl as well that kids can go to with that. Another club is 4-H archery, and so Mr. Fawn has covered archery for a few years, and it's really grown, and so Jennifer has taken over our archery club, and it's quite popular. And so we're shooting out there at the community gardens in the woods there. Learn to shoot and operate a bow correctly and safely. We always
we
cover
got people
safety.
learning how to. Can you tell me exactly when this is happening and where I need to avoid?
It's fine to be there because they're learning to do it safely.
Okay.
And so that's a big component when we any of these clubs. When we're talking about the horse club, the wildlife club, the any type of club that we have, we're going to cover safety very thoroughly.
All right, so we're down to about a half a minute left. Have we got anything else that we
The
need to
last
let everybody
one
know
is
about?
our rifle club, and so we have an air rifle club and we have a rifle club because we had got an NRA grant to buy some rifles last year, and so our air rifle club has been to national competition before, have won state competition twice, and so we think that our rifle club now will begin to grow since we have this nice grant to buy some equipment for them to use.
Very good.
And so that's another club that's meeting at Cane Creek Community Garden, and for any of these, folks can call our office, 256-237-1621.
All right, give David a call and get your kids involved in something that they can really put to use throughout their lives. All right, the sheriff and I will be right back. We'll have your crazy criminal in just a minute here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to help our investigators with the following cases. First up, on September 18th, a 1996 red Chevrolet S10 truck was stolen from a barn on Oak Grove Road in Gadsden. And sometime on September 18th, a black 5x8 utility trailer filled with scrap metal was stolen from a residence on Big Shoals Road in Anniston. And on September 20th, a purse was stolen from a car in the Dollar General parking lot on Highway 431 in Alexandria. And on September 20th, this residence and storage container on Reeds Mill Row was burglarized. A Hewlett-Packard laptop, a Cybertron desktop PC, Husqvarna blower, and chainsaw were all stolen along with various other tools. And last up on your caseload this week on September 23rd and September 25th, a green Rabbi 3,000-watt generator was taken from the Railroad Drive in Alexandria. And that's it for your caseload this week. If you have any information on these cases, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number, 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, our crazy criminal of the week, Sheriff. This may be the crankiest old man alive. This
I probably know him.
probably do. No, probably not. He's not very close to here. Lim Lee Sang He's a 60-year-old man who he lives in Singapore, and he rides the bus quite often, and he takes toothpicks with him. And he takes toothpicks, and here, show us the picture here. He takes toothpicks and he sticks them down in the seat so that people will sit on the toothpick and poke their rear end. And
I got to ask, why?
Because he's just an old curmudgeon. He's mean. He's doing it as a prank, but that prank is costing about $1,000 in reupholstering fees for the bus company and the people that sit on them. You can tell that's been sat on. They're not too happy about it either.
Yeah. Well, all right. I don't really know what to say to that.
All I'm going to say this is I hope we haven't given anybody any ideas, because that is not something you want to be doing.
Yeah, I hope nobody from the sheriff's office watches this. They might be doing that at the office to somebody. I don't know. I have to check my chair when I get back.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. But that is actually a crime, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a crime. Yeah, that'd be assault. Yeah, that criminal mischief cause you more problems than you want to do. Anytime you hurt somebody, that's, while you might think it's funny, I'm sure the person that got poked didn't think so.
No. All right. Well, that's all the time that we've got for this week. We appreciate you joining us. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.